Two problems, that's a dilemma. Many problems, that's Polylemma. We're addressing the challenges of social media advertising. We do this completely in public, where we ideate, experiment, and analyze. Join us in the learning journey if you too are interested in learning through action.
Hi everyone, Jose here. So today we're going to do campaign 3 analysis. So campaign 3 was the first campaign that we ran for NEORA, which is a fashion brand run out of Jaipur. The experiment that we ran in this campaign was how would NEORA perform when advertised to all of India versus just the large cities with a population of 10 lakh plus. The other targeting criteria for this campaign was NEORA's only targeting women between the ages of 18 and 36 who had an interest in high value items as well as fashion. Alright, so now let's discuss which metrics we're going to use to run the analysis. So for this campaign, we're going to take a look at the following 4 metrics: reach, landing page views, click-through rate, as well as cost per click. So the reason to use landing page views and cost per click in this campaign as opposed to results and cost per results that we used in previous campaign, well, we wanted to see how many people the ad would drive to NEORA's page, to its Instagram page, and how many of those would result in sales. Now the last part of that, where we've actually seen how many sales actually resulted from each of those two, is slightly sensitive information, and therefore we're not going to be sharing it with you. NEORA does not want that information to be made public. However, a good proxy for the results, or the sales in this case, would be the landing page views, and cost per click functions very similarly to cost per result. Alright, so now let's look at these 4 metrics along with the PCS score for the large Indian cities with population 10 lakh plus as well as pan-India. So as we can see from the results, we can see that at the PCS score level, both score really similarly. Both of the campaigns got very similar landing page view results. The click-through rate is quite similar. The cost per click is slightly higher for the large Indian cities, and the reach is slightly lower. So the reach being slightly lower is kind of expected because All India would obviously cover these cities and some more. So it would make sense that the reach for a pan-India campaign would be higher. But with no significant difference in terms of the landing page views and the click-through rate, what we also see is the cost per click is also not too different, although it is slightly better with the pan-India campaign. What we also found when we were going through the results, and we try to see this in as much detail as possible, particularly state-wise, is we saw that when we ran it only with cities of 10 lakh plus population, certain states were completely left out. For example, Kerala, Himachal Pradesh, and a few others. So when we actually went to those states and just looked at the data from All India and we just accounted for that, that kind of accounts for pretty much the entire difference between the reach of the 2 campaigns. So if you are going to run a campaign with cities of 10 lakh plus, then that is something to keep in mind, that your ad will not be running at all in certain states. And if that is something that's important to you, then that is definitely something you should take into consideration when targeting in such a manner. From the purpose of our campaign, it seems that targeting the larger cities just isn't kind of worth it. I would kind of say that targeting All India seems to be working way better, and that's probably what we're going to continue to do. Alright, so now let's look at the age-wise data just for the larger Indian cities. So as you can once again see, the spread of results at the PCS score level is again not too broad. We have results from 1.55 to about 2.3. So the results across the age groups don't vary too much at the composite score level at least. Looking at the different age bands, as you'd expect, the 25 to 34 age band kind of gave us the highest reach, which is kind of what you'd expect. That is where the majority of people on Facebook are anyways. They also, however, gave us the largest number of landing page views, which again bodes well and shows that that's kind of where the majority of our customers would probably be lying. And although it is the largest number, it's not too far out of the realm of what the other categories are doing us. So we should still consider them. Looking at the 25 to 34 age category, you see that's also where we're getting the largest number of landing page views. So that's a pretty good sign. It kind of corresponds well with the larger reach. Although if we're just gonna be comparing it as landing page views over reach, then I think the others also do fairly similarly. So really it's just a game of how many people are there in each of the targeting categories. Again, as we've seen from previous campaigns, the 25 plus age groups kind of have a much better click-through rate. The 18 to 24 just doesn't perform as well. And finally, we look at the cost per click. In this case, although there is a little bit of variation, they're all kind of pretty similar, all clumped up together. Again, the 25 to 34 age group does do best, but not significantly so from the other age groups. And as we have seen in previous categories, the 18 to 24 age group does perform the worst again for the cost per click. So of course you want to contrast this to the all India data as well. But just looking at this data also, I would feel that perhaps we can increase the age group targeting and see how the slightly older age groups perform as well. Because the results for the 35 to 36 age group is actually not too dissimilar to the 25 to 34 age group. So probably increasing the age groups will maybe increase the reach and hence get us more results as well. Alright, so let's turn to the All India age group now. So if we look at the PCS score for these, again we see similar kind of range to what we saw for the large cities. We again see the 18 to 24 age group kind of perform the worst on the PCS score level, and the oldest age group, the 35 to 36 age group, kind of perform the best. Now if we look at the reach, we actually see the 18 to 24 age group actually had a fairly similar reach to the 25 to 34 age group. And the 35 to 36 of course had much smaller reach, but that is what you'd expect. Again, the click-through rate was the worst for the 18 to 24 age group, which is what you'd expect and is consistent with the previous campaign. And surprisingly, for kind of a similar reach, the landing page views were also kind of lower. In fact, for a higher reach, the landing page views were lower compared to what we got in the previous campaign, which was a little surprising. However, the metric that throws up probably the most interesting result here is the cost per click. What we see is the 18 to 24 age group is actually significantly cheaper to target than the older age groups for a pan-India campaign. So that seems rather interesting to me, because when we ran it just for metro cities, the 18 to 24 age group was the most expensive to target, but in this case somehow it is the cheapest. Not only that, but the 35 to 36 age group actually was significantly more expensive than any of the other age groups. And in fact, looking across both campaigns, it was the most expensive age group to target. So it's quite an interesting result. Not entirely sure how that happened. What I would really want to do in this case is just look at the data from the next campaign and see how does that compare. Was this consistent, or was it a one-off kind of thing? In terms of takeaways from this ad experiment, I would say that we definitely should look to expand the age criteria. I would also say that probably targeting pan-India is better. We do get higher reach and the results kind of fairly similar, so no need to artificially dilute the population. Particularly because I think there's certain states where then the ad just doesn't run, and I think there's definitely some potential for sales from those states. Alright guys, so that was it from campaign 3. Hopefully you guys got a few learnings from that. Definitely had quite a few interesting results in this one. Do stay tuned for campaign 4, and do let us know what you think of this video as well as the analysis that we conducted in the comments. And we always love to hear feedback, both positive and negative. It really is the energy that drives us. So do leave a comment and like the video if you liked it, and share the video if you think somebody could benefit from the insights that we gathered. Thanks, bye.